From the Oklahoma State Capitol, I'm Dave Morris, State of the State, also the first day of the session happening right here. I'm joined by Carmen Forman, who will be out here every day, get ready, over the next few months for this session. And Carmen, we heard the State of the State.
Money as the solution, but I'm here to tell you it's not all about funding.
We also heard the reaction from that.
To the governor's State of the State were, number one, in education, we're seeing yet another gimmick to get education funding into our public schools.
Governor Kevin Stitt there on the House Representative floor. Quickly, the 30,000-foot view, what did he deliver in today's State of the State speech?
The governor's speech was mostly focused around government bureaucracy and sort of tearing down the red tape that can keep people from getting help from state agencies that they help fund, So he's looking at consolidating some state agencies. He wants to reduce regulations in the state by about 25%. And then he just talked more about basic good government sort of reforms that, some others may not classify as good government, but ways to make Oklahoma state government work more efficiently.
That will make us stronger, more prosperous, top 10.
This governor has stayed on message, meaning this is his second year that he's about to start. And we've heard top 10, which was his campaign slogan all throughout, repeated in the first year, and we heard it a lot on the State of the State message today. But you're right, he said one of the biggest issues facing the state was bureaucracy, and then we heard the reaction following that.
Yeah, and so some of the reaction has been from Democrats has basically been that, they've seen governors come in before and try to reform state government, consolidate state agencies, and they've said that sort of worked with mixed success. So, that's sort of this idea that governors think they can come in and change everything, and they say that might not be for the best.
And I think it's interesting that for all of his talk on minimizing bureaucracy or lessening bureaucracy, we heard him create one of the largest state agencies that I've ever heard of, combining mental health, combining healthcare authority, combining Department of Health. That's going to be an unworkable nightmare for citizens who are trying to navigate this huge agency.
If we're going to consolidate agencies, then we need to take a very, very close look at that, especially if we're going to consolidate medical agencies. It is an incredibly complex issue. Just because an agency has medical or healthcare or something like that in their title of the agency doesn't mean that they all serve the same purpose.
And what Senator Kay Floyd, who is the Senate Minority Leader, pointed out is that if you want to consolidate all the agencies that deal with health care in Oklahoma, the Oklahoma Healthcare Authority, the State Department of Health, the Mental Health Services Department, that could make one really large, very complicated agency that would be nearly impossible for people to navigate.
We should say you can watch the entire State of the State speech on our website at oklahoman.com. But you can also watch the reactions that we heard from Representative Emily Virgin delivering the Democrats' response, and then also, as she mentioned, Senator Kay Floyd and Greg Treat, the president pro tem of the Senate as well. Their messages can be watched online. Two other things to point out of notable interest in Oklahoma politics over the past couple of years has been education.
Yes, obviously education is the top issue here. People want to know, what the governor's plans for education are, and he didn't have the biggest plans for education this year. He doesn't foresee giving teachers a pay raise this year. I mean, he gave the state has given 2 pay raises in a row, and one of his initiatives for next year is actually to increase funding, increase the tax cap, so it's not state funding, but allow wealthy folks to donate to a scholarship program that will allow less fortunate or needy students to attend private schools in the state. And I'm not sure what kind of reaction that's going to be met with from public school advocates.
The model gaming compacts have been a success, greater than anyone predicted. Unfortunately, we have an expired model gaming compact.
And that second topic of Oklahoma politics over the past year has been the tribes.
Yeah, and the governor had some words on that as well. He's still sticking to the message that he believes that the compacts did not renew on January 1st. And what he said in his State of the State speech is he wants legislators to put aside some money or to take some money from the state reserve accounts, about $130 million, which would be the equivalent of 1 year in gaming revenue. And that way, if the state were not to get that gaming revenue, which he's advised that the state shouldn't take it because it weakens the position that the compacts don't renew, then they can still give that $130 million to education, which is about how much the education department receives from gaming fees each year.
And as we heard from Senator Treat, we just saw the budget, or the budget has just been released along with the State of the State speech, so a lot to digest and dig into.
So much to digest, and really what Senate Pro Tem Greg Treat said is that, this is really just a starting point.
I think it's just a matter of style. I am excited that this governor's budget has the totality of funding in it, from local sources, from all state portion dollars. It gives a much clearer picture. About 4 or 5 years ago, the state Senate started doing that in our appropriations bill under Chairman Jolly when I was his vice chair. I think it's extremely important when we're making decisions that we see the total picture. I'm excited about that part. As far as getting down into the details, I got the book delivered to me this morning, and I have not had a chance to analyze every page of it.
And himself and House Speaker McCall and the governor will have to sit down and talk more about all of these priorities and figure out where to go next.
Well, where you should go next is to the Oklahoman every day in your driveways and newsstands, but also online at oklahoman.com, across our whole suite of social media and apps. Please follow Carmen, Forman, and Kayla Branch. They also have 6 takeaways from today's State of the State speech that you should watch online at oklahoman.com. And Carmen, thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me, Dave.